Welcome, one and all, and welcome to episode 6 of Smacktalking Amigos. What we will be doing in segments this week because James, my colleague, is in Knoxville, Tennessee. So we're going to start with segment 1 of No Mercy and Monday Night Raw. So it was the second exclusive pay-per-view for the SmackDown brand, and it started with arguably a main event, the WWE Championship being put on the line, first match of the night. It was the presidential debate as well the same night, so WWE wanted to draw viewers, so that's why they put the main event first. Let's talk about it. Good 25-minute match. John Cena showed that he will become the best superstar to ever hold titles. He will eclipse Ric Flair, I have no doubt about that. But unfortunately, tonight wasn't his night. Dean Ambrose will take back the WWE Championship to the Ambrose Asylum, but it wasn't his night. It was the phenomenal AJ Styles. Fantastic spots in this match. It was a typical triple threat match where everything goes, and you saw by the finish, steel chair, anything goes. I thought it was a little bit cheap, but as AJ Styles said, a champ does what a champ has to do to win. I'd like to talk about the double submission on AJ Styles. I think if someone taps out to a double submission, I think Shane McMahon or Daniel Bryan should have come out and said that it's a one-on-one match between Cena and Ambrose because AJ Styles tapped out to both superstars. I know in traditional triple threat rules that cannot happen, but I think it should have. Just saying, don't know. James will have a different view than me, and he'll do his segment later. So we go to the second match of the night. Carmella versus Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella won through the Rack Attack 2.0. I thought Carmella would win this. Carmella is the new talent, and we were talking about previous weeks that Nikki is kind of like the John Cena of women's wrestling now, getting talent over. But they gave Nikki the win. I think this feud will go on to Survivor Series or maybe even longer. James predicted Nikki would win. I predicted Carmella would win. So James is 2-1 up in predictions because we both predicted the phenomenal one to retain his championship. It was a good match overall, and I think the women's division on both Raw and SmackDown are only going to get better, and we will talk about the women's division on Raw in a bit. So we come to Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. Randy Orton started to hear voices in his head again, was going down for the RKO. Lights went out and a returning Luke Harper appeared in the ring, distracting Orton, giving Wyatt the win via the infamous Sister Abigail. I think Bray Wyatt needed to get over Randy Orton in this one. I think he needed the win more than Orton needed the win. I've been saying that since Bray has come, he's faced superstars like Cena, Ambrose, The Rock, Reigns, but he hasn't won. He's got them over in the matches, and I think he needed to get over in the match because hopefully it leads him to getting a title run in the future. So we come on to Baron Corbin versus Jack Swagger. Baron Corbin won it with hitting the end of days. I couldn't imagine that anyone would hit the end of days on Jack Swagger. Great match, but two behemoths. And this feud can go on. It's not like the Dolph Ziggler Baron Corbin feud or the Baron Corbin Sin Cara feud. This will go on, and hopefully it will culminate at the end of the year with one of them getting a title opportunity for either the IC title or maybe even further. I think Baron Corbin could go to the next step to challenge for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So Baron Corbin won that. So we talk about the WWE Tag Team Championships now. The Usos came out and challenged Heath Slater and Rhino. I predicted the Usos. James predicted Heath Slater and Rhino, so he's 3-1 up. I'm not doing really well at the moment. So yeah, it was a good match. I like the Usos persona at the moment. I like the way they're doing it, and I think they will eventually win the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. I have to be honest, I didn't expect Slater and Rhino to get over on the Usos this week at No Mercy, but they did, and well done to them. Well done to James. He's taken a 3-1 lead. We saw the returning Kurt Hawkins, and he said he's going to have his first match on SmackDown this Tuesday night. He said he was only going to enter the ring at No Mercy. Didn't say he was going to wrestle, and he didn't. I cannot wait for Kirk Hawkins' debut on SmackDown. And now we come to the Intercontinental Championship match. Career versus title. Dolph Ziggler has had a fantastic career. He's won the World Heavyweight Championships, he's won US titles, he's won IC titles, he's won the Tag Team titles. Early days he was part of the Spirit Squad, and obviously the Spirit Squad came out and along with Maurice tried to distract Dolph Ziggler so Miz could end Ziggler's career, but the referee sent him to the back. And Ziggler somehow, in an instant classic, it will remain an instant classic run, and now he's the new IC title. He keeps his career, so it'd be interesting to see how the Miz retaliates on SmackDown this Tuesday. So that was the No Mercy pay-per-view. James won 3-1, so he is still the WWE predictions champion. I have to go off, dust myself off, and come back at Hell in a Cell in a few weeks. But now, and I'll probably rate the pay-per-view 6 or 7 out of 10. It wasn't anywhere near Night of Champions or Backlash. Now we go on to Monday Night Raw, and they ended the show last week. They started the show this week. Sasha Banks and Charlotte. Sasha Banks came out, happy birthday to Eddie Guerrero, listing her achievements, how far she's come. Charlotte came out, then immediately Rusev came out with Lana. Rusev saying that the women's division didn't matter, he was the main event no matter where he was. Roman Reigns then came out. They had a little back and forth confrontation leading to GM Mick Foley announcing that Charlotte and Rusev would take on Roman Reigns and Sasha Banks in a Champions versus Challengers main event match. So we go on to the next segment now, the New Day. Kofi Kingston versus Cesaro. It was interesting. Sheamus doing Facebook Live, tweeting while Cesaro was fighting, and ultimately costing Cesaro the match. And Kofi won. It's interesting to see how this plays out. Cesaro and Sheamus, they're obviously challenging the New Day in a few weeks for the WWE Tag Team Championships at Hell in a Cell. So it'd be interesting to see how that plays out, but I expect the New Day to lose the Tag Team Championships. Then we had GM Mick Foley and Stephanie McMahon come out and announce that the first ever women's Hell in a Cell match will be between Charlotte and Sasha for the WWE Women's Championship. I said before that before they gave the women's this type of match, they needed to main event a Raw, and they did last week, and they did superb. They were going out to a rousing applause, and I'm sure they'll do the same at Hell in a Cell. Then Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho came back. Chris Jericho, he's doing the best mic best mic work, he added Mick Foley onto the list of Jericho again, and I think he added Stephanie onto the list of Jericho. But obviously Stephanie doesn't care what list she goes on, and she booked a match that's Seth Rollins versus Chris Jericho. If Chris Jericho managed to win, it would be a triple threat match inside Hell in a Cell for the WWE Universal Championship at Hell in a Cell. So after that, we go on to Braun Strowman. He asked for better talent. He had one local athlete. He had two local athletes, and he did the same thing. Pile of rubble. He is a destructive force, and I am begging Mick Foley to give him better talent, because Braun Strowman isn't a guy you doesn't look like a guy you want to mess with. So we go on to Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman is obviously the advocate for Brock Lesnar and WWE 2K17, and there have been rumours, strife going around that Goldberg and Brock Lesnar are going to have a match, and Heyman said that Goldberg is one up on Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar doesn't like that. So he's challenged Goldberg to an icon, to the beast versus the myth. Icon versus icon. Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg match. Anytime, anywhere. And Goldberg is coming to Monday Night Raw next week to answer the challenge. I'm hoping he answers it with a yes. To see a jackhammer one more time or one more spear is going to be epic. So we come on to the champions versus challengers, and this was an instant epic. The chemistry in the ring that Roman Reigns and Sasha Banks had was awesome. The chemistry that Rusev and Charlotte had, on the other hand, maybe not so. And the crowd, massive cheer as Sasha Banks locked in the bank statement on Charlotte, and Roman Reigns speared Rusev as Rusev was going to break it up. Then we come to our main event, Chris Jericho versus Seth Rollins. What a match. Kevin Owens obviously interrupted because he didn't want Chris Jericho going into the triple threat match at Hell in a Cell. But in the end, Seth Rollins had the last laugh by both pedigreeing Chris Jericho and hurting Kevin Owens. So that was Monday Night Raw this week. I'd rate it 6 out of 10, not 7 or 8 out of 10. So I'm hoping my brother in Tennessee is having a good time, and see you later.